Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. If you are new, if you're not new, welcome back to my channel. My name is Marina and today I am back with a mid-year book freakout tag. Yeah, I think I said those words in order. Okay. I have read significantly less than I did last year. Although this year hasn't been the best reading year in terms of like quantity, I feel like I can make a video like this because I want to talk about the books that I've read. Let's just get into it, okay? So, first question, best book you've read so far in 2022. I'm just as indecisive this year as I was last year, so I might have like multiple answers for these questions going forward. First book, Savvy Sheldon Feels Good as Hell. I mentioned this in my last wrap-up video. This book is so freaking good. Loved it. One of my favorite books of this year, definitely. It's basically about this girl, Savvy Sheldon, who just got out of a relationship that she was in for a long time, and it makes her question herself and feel less confident. So she's like throughout the book trying to better herself and her self-confidence and how she overall feels about what she's doing with her life. And along the way she meets this really hot constructor, that's not a word, Marina, this really hot construction worker, and there might be some romance in it, but I wouldn't categorize it as a romance, okay? Like, it's kind of a personal growth book of sorts, if I'm being honest. Really good. This is one of my favorite reads of this year for sure. Another book that's one of my favorites this year that I'm actually currently reading is Circe by Madeline Miller. I'm not done with it. As you guys can see, I'm like not even halfway through, but I already know. I just have a feeling that this is gonna be one of my favorite books I've read this year. It already is. Like, I'm not, like I said, I'm not even halfway through, but it's so good. I've said this multiple times. This woman, I didn't think she would disappoint me. I've only read Song of Achilles, but I knew going into Circe that she would never, she didn't know, there's just no way. So yeah, one of my favorite books this year, and I haven't even finished it. Next question, best sequel you've read so far in 2022. Now, honestly, I haven't read many sequels this year. I haven't really been into like series as much as I was last year, so I really had like it was a scarce list to go off of, but the obvious ones I guess could be Heartstopper Volume 3 and Heartstopper Volume 4. Alice Oseman's pen, it was penning. It was definitely penning. These books are part of the Heartstopper series. You guys probably know what it is. I doubt anyone doesn't at this point in time. I've mentioned how much I love these books, how much I love the television series, and I read them for the first time this year, and yeah, they still hold up. These are my favorite of the series so far. Another sequel that I've read that was really good was Twisted Games by Anna Huang, which is in the Twisted series by Anna Huang. Pretty sure it's the second book. It's my favorite out of the series, and it is one of the best sequels I have read this year. Bodyguard, princess trope, forbidden love trope, kind of an age gap. I'm pretty sure there's like a 10-year age gap. I'm pretty sure the main girl's like in her mid-20s and the guy is in his mid-30s, so it's really not that big of a deal. Yeah, just really good. I was hooked the entire time. I read it back to back to back, page after page. I couldn't put it down. So freaking good. New releases I have not read yet, but want to. I actually bought this book the other day. I'm very excited. I've had it on hold at work for the longest time, and since, you know, Barnes and Noble is doing their whole buy one hardcover get one 50% off, I had to take the chance. Even with my employee discount, don't get it twisted, okay? Hardcovers are still expensive with the discount, so I was like, let me just wait until I'm in the mood to spend money when it is cheaper. And so I finally got this book. You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Akweke Emezi. I've been waiting to read this. I haven't read it. It came out, I think, last month. This was in my, I think, 2020 books I want to read in 2022 video that I made back in December. I finally have the book. I'm gonna be possibly reading it sometime soon, most likely next month. Yeah, I'm very excited. I finally got it, and I'm definitely going to be reading it. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm reading this book. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year. This is going to come as no surprise to any of you. Bloodmarked by Tracy Dion, the sequel in the Legend-Born cycle. I am counting down the days until my book comes. I've already pre-ordered it. You guys already know this. I think about these characters every day. without fail. I think about what is to come in the second book. Like I'm not living life anymore. My days are just me thinking about Bloodmarked and waiting for Bloodmarked. Biggest disappointment. Ooh, okay. Again, this isn't gonna come as a surprise to you guys if you watch my vlog for this book or, you know, my reading wrap up for this book, but Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. It was not good for me. I didn't like it. I personally feel like the hype for this book is crazy. Like, I didn't think it was that good, and it left me fairly disappointed. I was excited to read it, and then by the time I finished reading it, I was kind of upset that Book Talk wasted my time. Another disappointment, which might come as a surprise, the Atlas 6. Now, you guys know that I'm definitely gonna be reading the sequel to this because I just want to make sure that my favorite character is okay, but the plot of this book is like no plot. I've mentioned this before, and I think it was my January-February book wrap up. When I first read this book, I was just confused by what was going on. The plot was hanging on by a thread. It was very hard to get through, not only because of like lack of plot, but like the pretentious writing style wasn't my favorite. Didn't like that. Literally the only thing that kept me hanging on was the characters. I think the way Olivia Blake writes their characters is so captivating and compelling that it's enough for me to read the sequel, especially since my favorite character might end up, you know, not being okay. If you know, you know. So I'm definitely reading the sequel for sure. But it was definitely disappointing because I thought it was gonna be like this big time like fantasy book. I thought there would be more to it. Okay, I genuinely thought it would be more to it. It's literally just character driven, which usually I'm not against. Like, I love, for the most part, like character driven books, but with this one, like, I feel like it was just not it for me. It just wasn't it for me. Sorry. Next, biggest surprise of this year. Now, I don't really get surprised by books most often. I really don't, but a few did surprise me this year. Okay, so first book, or should I say book series, that surprised me was The Summer I Turned Pretty by the one and only Jenny Han. I didn't think I would love this book as much as I did the first book, but then I ended up loving it, and then I read the rest of the series and I still love it. But that first book, oh, I understand why y'all hype it up. I understand why that was such like a big series when you guys were kids. I read it for the first time this year, but I know a lot of people like grew up with the series and it has a special place in their hearts, and I was like, okay, let me give it a try. I went in with little to no expectations, and I walked out reading the book and thinking, wow, peak literature, dare I say. Like, I was very surprised. I was. We don't need to talk about the sequels, okay? We don't need to talk about the sequels, but that first book, oh, different areas of writing. Another surprise for me was Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. I freaking love this book. I have yet to read a romance that has topped this for me this year. It is very good. It's still like, I think about these characters a lot too. I think about the small town that they live in. I think about everything that happened in this book, and it's still like sticks with me. Mia Sheridan really went off. Like, she really like kind of popped off with that book. That's crazy. It's one of my favorite romances of this year, one of my favorite books of this year. I should have put it with that, but it's fine. It's fine. I went in knowing literally nothing about the book. I didn't read a synopsis or anything, and it was just so good by the end of it. I thought Book Talk was going to be lying to me because I read it in the same week as The Spanish Love Deception, so I thought that you guys would be lying to me. No, that wasn't a lie for once. Good job, Book Talk. You guys recommended something good. Favorite new author, debut or new to you? It's Taj McCoy, the lady who wrote Savvy Sheldon Feels Good as Hell. This was her debut novel, and I will read anything this woman writes going forward. It's that serious for me. I'm sorry. Like, it was so good. Her writing style, which is something I adapted to so easily, and I've never felt that with any book before, I feel like, and I just think going forward I'm gonna be like her #1 fan. I'm obsessed. And then of course another one that shouldn't come as a surprise, Alice Oseman, the author of Heartstopper. I will read anything that they make. I don't think you guys understand. I will read anything that Alice Oseman makes going forward. I'm still in the process of reading like her current books that she has out right now, but yeah, I feel like I can trust Alice Oseman with my life, sure, because you don't make a book series like Heartstopper and expect me not to just like read the rest of your stuff. Like, I'm so interested in not only just the books in the Heartstopper universe, because you know she writes other books that take place in this universe that aren't about Nick and Charlie, but just like her other books going forward. Like, I know that she has a book called Loveless. It's like a whole other universe of new characters and stuff that I'm interested in. I will read anything that Alice Oseman puts out. She's one of my favorite authors that I have discovered this year. And then another one that I just talked about, Mia Sheridan. I trust her. I trust her when it comes to writing romance. I don't know if she's written anything else. I know that she has another book. I don't remember the name of it, but I want to read that soon. Just Archer's Voice, it kind of sold me. Like, literally midway through Archer's Voice, I was like, okay, so this woman's pen isn't to be messed with. I knew instantly that I was gonna love it, and I trust going forward that her books are gonna be good. Like, I don't know why, but I just have a feeling. She has the title of being one of my favorite authors of this year just from Archer's Voice alone. Like, my full respect goes to her for making a book that excellent. Oh God. Okay, newest fictional crush. I've been reading mostly romance this year, so I have a lot. But I shortened the list, okay? I had to, because it was rough for me at first. I was like, who am I gonna pick for this? I shortened it to 4 people, okay? So first is obviously, I feel like the man of this video, Archer Hell from Archer's Voice. Good man. That's a great man. Great man. Reese Larson from Twisted Games. This also should not come as a surprise. Not at all. And then also Josh Chen from Twisted Hate, which is I think the 3rd book in the Twisted series. He's my favorite boyfriend out of all of them in the series. I just feel like realistically he would be my type, but Reese Larson just brings out something else in me that's like totally different. I'm sorry. Archer, Reese, Josh, and then Nico from the Atlas 6. He's very, I don't even know how to describe his character. Well, while reading the book, every time I read in his point of view, I was like getting butterflies. I don't know why that, like, I was reading his point of view and there were moments where I was just like, damn, he's very suave. Like, I don't know, he was selling me. He was selling me personally, and yeah, definitely one of my crushes. It also helps that like he's hot, and it's a fact because the art for him very makes me think things. No, there's just something about him that I would risk it for. I don't know about you, but this is the before it got republished. I think the new art in the published version of the Atlas 6 for Nico, let me just like put it here. It's so like he's so fine, just very fine man. Yeah, the strongest reasons why I will be tuning into the sequel of Atlas 6, not gonna lie. Good man. Newest favorite character. You know, since we're on the topic of the Atlas 6, let's talk about Libby. I love Libby. Libby, this is my girl. I love her with all my heart, and I will protect her from anyone. That includes every character in this book. Okay, like, that's my sister. Leave her alone. Another character that has become one of my favorites of this year, Savvy. Bad bitch alert, Savvy Sheldon. She's so cool. Love her as well. All of the Heartstopper characters, literally every single one of them has my heart. The Heartstopper characters are my family. Like, actually, like if I were to have a found family trope in real life with the characters that I want, they'd be it. I haven't mentioned this book yet, but Gabriel de Leon from Empire of the Vampire, he's on the cover. Love him. I feel connected to him after reading his journey through this book. Like, I just have an emotional attachment to him, and I love him, and I just want to make sure that he's okay mentally, because with him I never know. I read like 900 pages in his point of view and I still don't know what's wrong with this man, but I just want to make sure that he's okay. Love him. He's one of my favorite characters. I love how complex he is, and just getting, like I said, his whole life story in this one book was wild and made me love him as a character 10 times more. Book that made you cry. Books have been like kind of mid this year in terms of like my emotional attachment to them. Like I don't really cry much with books this year. Maybe I'm just not picking the right ones, I don't know. But the one book that I'm currently reading that made me cry, which made me have to put it down, like I haven't read this book at all the past few days because I just hit like a breaking point. My Dark Vanessa by Kate Russell. Like I said, I'm currently reading it right now, so I can't give my final thoughts until I finished it, but I had to stop halfway because it was just getting to a point where I can't deal. Like I was feeling uncomfortable, disgusted, and at some point, the point that made me have to stop reading it, I did end up crying. Like I was like, you know what, let me just not. You guys might know it's become very popular on Book Talk. I heard about it because one of my friends recommended it to me, but apparently like it's a big Book Talk book as well. It deals with heavy topics such as grooming, pedophilia, just a lot of triggering topics, and I knew that going into it, but I wasn't expecting all of what I've been reading so far. So yeah, I'm currently reading it, but not right now because I needed a few days to like take in everything. Okay, like I cried at a specific scene, and I haven't been able to pick up the book again since. I'm definitely gonna pick it up because it's really, really good, but holy shit, it's so dark. Don't underestimate it, okay? You're going into some heavy stuff when you read the book. I cried, and I don't think I'm gonna stop crying when I continue reading it. Books that made you happy. Okay, what a surprise. Heartstopper. This is one of my favorite series of all time. You guys know this. Just not even like just the books, but the television series is my comfort series. Everything Heartstopper at the moment has just been making me happy. I love the characters. I love the story. I just love the way that Alice dives into this world and makes these characters and their journeys feel so real. And whenever I think about them, I get happy. Like these are truly like my comfort books, my comfort characters. This is my family, I'm telling you. Another book that made me happy, Fangs by Sarah Anderson. I love this book. I sometimes go back and read like the few comics that I remember just for like a little chuckle or giggle. It makes me happy reading this. If you guys don't know what this is, it's a love story between a vampire and a werewolf, and it's a graphic novel, and it's so freaking cute. Like every single page is like a different comic strip. It's very cute, very happy. I recommend it. I'm pretty sure the author makes like their own like little webtoon for it that goes beyond this book. Like more comic strips of it are online somewhere. If you look it up, you'll find it easily. It's a good serotonin boost. It really is. It's only 100 pages, but I go back and I sometimes flip through it. I'm just like, this is exactly what I needed. Okay, most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or received. I haven't been buying as many books this year. It's been one of my goals to like stop impulsively buying books. And I think I've been doing an okay job, like compared to last year. I think I'm doing like 10 times better, okay? One of the books that I did buy, granted, I bought this book last year, but I'm gonna put it in here because I didn't read it until this year, and I didn't realize how beautiful it was inside the book. Empire of the Vampire by Jay Kristoff. Beautiful, beautiful book. First of all, let me just take off the dust jacket. There's something on the front. I hate wearing the dust jacket on books. So inside the book are like these pretty freaking illustrations. This is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, so I don't know like what different editions include what, but these pretty ass illustrations, so freaking pretty. And then like with every single chapter you read from, they're like, oh, I can't show that, that's nudity. There are like different illustrations for different characters. Like this is Gabriel, this is my bestie, this is one of my favorite characters of this year. Yeah, beautiful. I just love the art in the book. Like every single time I got to an art page, I had to like take a moment to just like look at it and like look at that. That's freaking gorgeous. I've never had a book with stuff like this inside of it. So yeah, one of the prettiest books I own for sure. Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. This is one of my prettiest books, and I love to have it face out on my shelves because hello. This is, I think, the Barnes & Noble edition. You know how they do like the Barnes & Noble classics of classic books? Yeah, this is that. It's so freaking pretty. Like, I don't know if you can tell, but like the sprayed edges are like sparkly, and like the end papers are like that, and yeah, there's like a little like bookmark ribbon thing. Very pretty. It's a very pretty book. I love it. Last question. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? Everything. Everything. And I feel like that's just like a common basic answer, but genuinely I need to read everything. I remember all of the books for my 22 books I want to read in 2022, and I still want to read some of those, not all of them. I had to think, like, what books am I actually going to read from that video? So I want to read a few of those, but I also want to get to some new books. So some of the books I'm going to be mentioning are ones that you're familiar with because I mentioned them, and some you might be surprised. So first one, Daisy Jones and the Six. It's a priority at this point. Like, it's like a top priority because every time I see pictures of like the show of it that's going to be coming out, like the cast is on set and stuff, and I'm just like, whoa, why are we going so fast? Like, I knew it was getting made into a show or a movie or whatever, but I feel like I've been putting it off so long that I'm starting to see that everyone's going fast except me. I need to get into this book immediately. Like I said, every Alice Oseman book, I'm in the process of getting to those. I'm in the process, okay? I might just buy one book at a time just so I can like make it last all throughout the year, because I feel like if I buy a box set of her stuff, I'm literally gonna read it back to back, and I'd rather not do that. I want to make it last as long as possible. I want to read as much Alice Oseman as I can for a long period of time. I feel like if I get through all of her books in one sitting, it's not gonna be fun. Like, I need to like make it last, you know? Another one is, where is it? I have it in front of me. Okay. The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. This is the first book in the Wheel of Time series. I mentioned this in my 22 books of 2022 that I want to read. I really want to read this. I want to read it, but it's really big. Like, it's hefty. Like, ooh, y'all thought Empire of the Vampire was big? No, this is a beast, but I want to read it. I feel like I'm gonna like it. I feel like big fantasy books have been putting me in slumps. Empire of the Vampire did, Priory of the Orange Tree did, and I feel like I need to get to this book when I know for a fact I'm gonna actually sit down and take the time to read it. And that time isn't anytime soon, I'm gonna be honest, but I do want to read this at some point this year, okay? After reading Priory of the Orange Tree and finishing that, I needed some time away from fantasy. So I don't know when I'm gonna pick this up, but it's a book that I do want to read before the end of this year. Another book that I need to read, Act Your Age, Eve Brown. I finally have this in my clutches. Guys, I have not been wanting to put off this book this long. I know it's been like, I think a year since I read the sequel to the Brown Sisters trilogy, and now I finally have the third book in my clutches. It's because I've been waiting for my job to get it. I don't know why it took Barnes & Noble in my area so long to get this book in the store. I also made a goal to not order books unless I really have to. So like with Alice Oseman books, I of course ordered those. I ordered like the UK cover ones because the UK covers are so much better, and I have standards, okay? I have to, okay? So I ordered those. But with books like this, where I could find them in a bookstore easily, or it's like I thought it was going to be easy, it took months for this to get in Barnes & Noble, and I finally bought it yesterday. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, I'm walking out of here with the book. I want to finish the series, and I'm so excited to get to it. Like, hello, very excited. Another book or book series that I want to read this year that I have not read but I need to get to, Heroes of Olympus by Rick Riordan. I feel like this should be a main priority too, because every time I see people debate about Percy Jackson, characters from Heroes of Olympus always end up popping up into the discussion, and I feel left out. I feel personally left out, and I hate being left out of conversation. So I'm just like, okay, let me get into it. Let me start this. I need to. Also because like I'm genuinely like I want to know what's happening beyond Percy Jackson, the Olympians. Like, I know it's in the same universe, but I want to know what the streets are talking about, because people are saying that this series is good. Like, very good. And with every like picture I'm seeing of like the new Percy Jackson show, like of the characters on set and everything, it makes me want to go back and read books from that world. So I've been putting it off for a while, but I want to read it. I might even get started on that next month, if I'm being honest, because I want to read those before school starts. But I don't know though. Don't hold me to that, please. Last book is the School of Good and Evil series by Soman Chenani. I think that's how you pronounce their name. Correct me if I'm wrong. I want to read this. I've never been against reading this. It's just been knocked up, like pushed far up on my radar now because of the movie that it's getting. I saw a teaser trailer for that movie and I was like, wait a second, this looks, like Netflix kind of outdid because I didn't even know it was getting made into a live action. I had no idea where this came from until I saw the teaser on my timeline on Twitter, and I was like, whoa, this is different. I saw a lot of famous actors. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. So it's definitely getting read now. I've always had an interest in it because I've always seen the books. I've always seen those books, but I saw recently that the series has at least 10 books by now, maybe even more. I had no idea that the series went on for as long as it did. If I end up liking it, I know I'm gonna make that 10 book commitment, and I just need to make time for that. So I want to read this book or book series at some point this year, preferably before the movie comes out, which I think it does in October, but I'm very excited. I've been meaning to read a lot of middle grade lately, and I feel like with Rick Riordan and Somen Chinani, I can get this done. Hopefully. And yeah, that's my video. That's my mid-year book freakout tag. Yay. I feel like I've read a decent amount of books this year, but compared to last year, it is a little bit smaller, but I'm satisfied with what I have, what I've talked about. Like I've liked almost every book that I've read this year. So maybe my standards are just a little high. That's why I've been reading a little less. I'm not trusting everything Book Talk says this year. So I feel like because of that, I've been reading a lot of books that I actually genuinely enjoy, which I'm not even mad at. I'm not mad at. And with those books, I actually want to take my time and read them instead of sprint through them. So yeah, I'm trying not to feel like when it comes to the amount of books I read anymore, because Book Talk has this thing where like they make reading a competition. Book Talk, BookTube, whatever you want to call it. Like how I don't understand how people are reading 28 books a month, but that's also none of my business. Like I'm trying not to compare. So I'm very satisfied with what I have told you guys about today. If you enjoyed this video, thank you. If you'd like to interact with me and talk about all the books that I mentioned or recommend me more books, here's my Twitter. I mostly interact on Twitter, but if you would like to talk to me on any other social media platform, it will all be in the description below. Yeah, I think that's it for this video. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye everyone.